Good morning, friends. Let's just start off. Steve here. And let's just start off with setting up the healing field and connecting to our different parts. So you might want to state out loud. I connect to my deep self. I connect to my higher self. I connect to my highest self. I ground myself into the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I choose to let go of anything not useful to me now. And if you wish support by the seventh dimensional beings, the Hathors, you can say, I choose to work with the Hathors. They will support you very gently and easily. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. And I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that they all be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. And upon arrival at this event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, the healing field is set up, and you have included yourself in that healing field. We're at an event, so you can say, well, was this a past event? Is this a future event? I think time kind of is occurring all at once, is my present perception of reality, because when I thought about it later, but when I used to go back to the event that was affecting a person, I'd go back with them to the event that was affecting them in this moment in time in this life, and we would go to another time period, and maybe that time period, one of the one was most interesting, where people were living in hovels, made of straw and mud, and they would just make these places to kind of protect them from the weather to some degree. And it came to me, this is like the Middle Ages. But I don't really know what all that has gone on this planet. I'm sure on some level within my Akashic records, I can tap into the records of different times and places and things, but these things might be all going on concurrently. It's hard to imagine, but it may actually be the way it is. It's neither here nor there, really. It's just an interesting thing to think about. So we've got the field set up. If you're here solely to work with the healing field, then you can just hit the pause button, come back later when we complete the healing field and we bring in the new energies. So just, take whatever amount of time it takes you to release and integrate the energies that you're feeling at this time. And then come back when you're ready. For those of you who are staying and may just be here for the Mayan calendar reading, that's going to occur now. And the Mayan calendar reading really has a lot to do. I pulled this card for the world, but as I began to read the card, I thought, wow, this is exactly what I'm working with. And here's the look of the card, and the wands are related to soul work. And you can think of the Prince or the Princess of Wands just relating to the aspects that we all have inside of ourselves. the male and female aspects that we have inside of ourselves. So there's aspects of ourself that might be perceived to be female. There's aspects of ourselves that may be perceived to be male. And it's all this cosmic dance of the yin and yang, and they're just working together. But we can create a polarity between our male and female sides. We can take opposition to our male and female sides, and we can do that outside ourselves. If we're a man, we may take opposition to men, or we may take opposition to women, or women may be in opposition to men, or some women may be in opposition to women. And some people are saying, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm non-binary, I'm just human. I'm not declaring allegiance to the male or the female aspect of myself. And maybe that'll help some understand that perception. And if there's somebody who has declared themselves as non-binary and they have a different perception, feel free to share that in the comment section, because we're just all learning about these new realities and things that are people that are finding themselves needing to make statements of a particular nature. They're trying to create a field where they feel they can comfortably live. And that's all any of us are doing. We're trying to find a place where we feel like we can comfortably live. I've not been drinking coffee for the last 10 days, 2 weeks, that period of time. And this is not, it's not really bragging. I really felt like coffee really helped me through many periods of time, and I really appreciate it as a means of motivation in some ways. It's like coffee is kind of like a cheerleader. You can do it, and I maybe thought more clearly, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it seems like my thinking is more lucid, and my brain works faster, maybe better. Who knows? But I've not had coffee for, between 10 days and 2 weeks. And what I've noticed, I think that the reason I drank coffee is because it took me into a state that I would call excited, that kind of matched the state of maybe panic or anxiety. So some people are thrill seekers, and they want to do these really intense things, jump out of airplanes or ski down really steep hills or go surfing in a tsunami. They need that adrenal rush. They need that constant adrenal stimulation. And part of that may be because we're all coming out of traumatic circumstances. So even if you say, well, I didn't really have any trauma, I had nice parents, whatever. All the people that were on the planet that were our progenitors, I think that's the right word, the people that came before us, all of those ancestors went through periods of time that were very traumatic. No matter where they came from, where they lived, how long ago it was, those unresolved energies actually come in our conception. So when our father and mothers, egg and seed, came together and began to form the human being that we are in, it brought in all the history of all those ancestors into that body and neural system. And the first thing that develops, I'm pretty sure about this, in the embryo is the neural system. It's the very first thing that develops. And it is the memory of the ancestry. And it, from what I understand, and I trust that this is true, it is our Akashic records. It is the record of our life and our lives of our ancestry. And on some levels, it taps into the whole history of the planet. which seems like an awful lot, and I wouldn't open it all up at once. It's like you walk in the library and you can't read all the books at once, unless you can, and then you're special, and you're special anyway, whether you can or can't. So the card we got in for the tarot card reading was the Princess of Wands, and wands are related to the soul work that we're doing. And so the Princess of Wands relates to the mastery of internal blocks, obstacles, and obstructions. She has in the image, she has the tiger by the tail. The tiger in some Oriental mythologies is associated with fear or blocks experienced within the nature. This ancestral information that came into our genetic structure and came in and formed our neural network, which is our information gathering and processing and releasing, have these unresolved events that our ancestors didn't get over. The tiger is associated with fear or blocks experienced within the nature. The Princess of Wands is a symbol of the free and liberated spirit. That is within each individual. She moves in new directions without fear or holding the fear by the tail. She's got the fear on a leash, and she's moving in new directions, taking the fear along, but not being held back by the fear. The new directions that are energizing, like her sun wand. Whoops, wrong side. Like her sun wand. You see that wand she's holding in one hand and the tiger by the tail in the other, dragging the tiger along backwards, sliding him along that river of life. She wears the Aries crown as a symbol of the pioneering and adventurous spirit that each of us possesses. The springtime is a season for renewal and new beginnings, which is represented by the ram's pedestal. And I think the ram's pedestal is that right there, that pedestal. The Princess of Wands has placed her old obstructions and fears on the altar and offers it as a spring sacrifice. She's sacrificing her fears. She can be totally exposed and defenseless because she has nothing to fear. And she has the tiger by the tail. And the words associated with the Princess of Wands is mastery of spontaneous expression and liberation. And the Princess of Wands is associated with Aries people in our lives, or the month of Aries, March 21st to April 21st, as being an important time to express one's sense of freedom, adventure, and of initiating something new. From the time you pull this card to the month of Aries, and we pulled it during the month of Aries because we're working with the universal consciousness, is a time frame in which you could overcome old fears. So you got the month to the 21st of April. You got this month ahead of you. To overcome old fears or obstacles with important Aries people in your life or with important younger women in your life. If you are a man, this symbol can represent the spontaneous free spirit that you experience within your own deep nature, deep self. It's part of your anima that does not want to be limited or obstructed by fear. This inner quality can be mirrored to you by spontaneous, adventurous, spirited younger women in your life. When a person is drawn toward this card, it's an indication that some major fear has already been released internally and that there is an experience of renewed energy, spirit, and vitality. So later on, I'm going to do after this, I'm going to do a Mayan card reading. But I was telling my wife this morning, just as we sit and drink tea and have conversation and ask each other how each other is doing. And then we hear from the other and we compare notes. And when my wife asked me, what I was aware of, I said, I'm aware that my whole body is vibrating. I'm kind of imitating it with my hands. But my whole body feels like it's vibrating. And it doesn't feel bad, it just feels unusual. And I was attempting to kind of tune in to various places that I was feeling. And in this one location, right in the center of the chest, so right in kind of in the area of the hollow, but in the center of the chest, I was feeling this contraction. And I remembered in the dream world, when I was in the lucid dream 2 mornings ago, I was being taught that it's not so much that this emotion is stuck to me, it's that I hold this emotion in place. So I'm going to do it right now because this is the energy I was feeling this morning again. If you just take the concept on, I hold this emotion in place. Therefore, if I release this emotion and give it space and don't make it be holding on for dear life, then that emotion can come out and be accepted. So I can hold my hands around that emotion and say, I accept you as the emotion that helped me survive through difficult experiences. I don't really need to know what those experiences are. I kind of do know what those experiences have been in my life that have made me contracted in many ways. And so I can just keep letting that field around that part of myself that was holding on to that anger, and I can let it go. This is where you say, I choose to let this go. And that is the anger that was there. And then I can go up here and I can say, okay, and I can feel this fear that I'm holding on to. No, this grief. Well, the fear is there and the grief, but they're right there together. I'm going to just specify the grief to start with. No, I just told that I'm going to work with the fear first and then the grief. So then the fear comes all the way through here. And so I'm just going to feel that feeling of the fear, feel how I'm holding it, how I'm contracting that fear and holding on to that fear. And then I can just begin to give it space. I can step out of it myself, so I just take my consciousness out of being in the fear. And then, as a more mature self, just observing this fear, that younger aspect of me was holding on to and trying to suppress because the event was too much. I can choose, I can state, I choose to let this go. I can state, I choose to accept this fully as an experience that I had. I can say, I choose to release these energies that I felt like I had to hold on to. And I can let them come out, and I can let them go. You might have actually felt that if you were doing that with me. And then I go back and the fear is gone, the grief is gone. I can still feel a little tightness, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I felt like I had to hold my tongue. I had to not speak my truth because it wasn't the truth of my family. So I had to keep it to myself. And now I share it with you. I release this grief. I give it space. I accept it fully and completely as an experience that I had maybe numerous times as a child where I had to not speak my truth and hold my perception of reality to myself. And now I open up to the freedom and the liberation of speaking the truth of my perceptions and the truth of my deeper self. And now that's released. My hands are kind of buzzing, and the hands and the feet and the ankles and the wrists are associated with holding in anger. And now my hands hurt because when you let go, you get more awareness. So you get more circulation, you get less tension, the muscles aren't so contracted. They begin to let go and you begin to feel them more. You can sometimes say, oh, that hurts. It hurts so good as it lets go, as you let go, as I let go, as we all let go of the past so that we can be liberated in the present. Okay, that's the tarot reading, and it's probably going to be similar to the Mayan calendar reading. We're going to now finish up the healing event that we went back to. So I asked the higher self to assist all the souls that returned to this event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul together in present time and bring it into the body with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity, its compassion, its curiosity, creativity, and its kindness. And I would ask those all souls to ground themselves in the healing center of the earth and open with kindness and joy and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And I would ask that those new energies be brought in through us, through the portal. With peace and joy, kindness, curiosity, compassion, wisdom, clarity. And I ask that these energies be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that's good. And the last thing I'll say before signing out is you might want to look up at this, whoops, let's see, there we go. Look up at this painting, which has a reflection of the window is reflecting off the painting. The painting is a watercolor that was done by Ray Jacobson as my graduation gift in 1980 from Chiropractic College. It was gifted to me by my wife at the time, and we were married for 22 years. And she gifted me this painting for my graduation present of the property I lived on from 1970 to 72. So I graduated in 1980, so it was 8 years later. The artist was still living there. He went right up and did this painting, and now it's reflecting where I'm living. And I was noticing during the video how you could actually see the wind moving through the trees in the video, and it just brought this whole painting to life. Princess of Wands. Imagining the world you want to live in. Imagine that, the world you want to live in. And the world you want to live in, I'll just tell you this. Say, don't tell me what I think, but I'm just going to tell you this because I can. I can do what I want. It's my channel. You can complain about it in the comment section. What I'm going to tell you is this, is that you want a world that works for everybody. Because if it doesn't work for everybody, it really doesn't work for you. And you may have accumulated just a ton of money and a ton of stuff. But if you don't have love in yourself for others or in others for you, then you just don't have it. You have to have all the money you want. Okay, now we can continue to just put the ram, the fear of the ram on the pedestal as a sacrifice, spring sacrifice to this new world. And I would say to that, Awomen to that. And now can go. If you haven't gone before this, now can go.